everybody. I hope everyone's doing good tonight. I'm not going to be on here too long tonight. Hello. So tonight we are going to talk about, I'm not sure those of you that saw my post from earlier, but tonight we're going to talk about when you are on the verge of something, doing something good, doing something great, really. If great things are in store for you, that is when the devil gets busy. I know my thing is crooked. It's because I have it on the charger and I had to prop it up. The devil gets busy when you're destined for greatness. And it's important that you know this. And even though it may feel painful to go through things that don't quite make sense to you in your environment, just know that sometimes when it's a challenge, it could be because there's something that's trying to get you off track, okay? And it will come, this negative energy will come in the form that is most impactful. And that means through your loved ones, the people you care about, the things that are important to you. Those are the things that are going to, how this negative energy is going to manifest. So the post today, I'm going to read it, actually. Let me see here. Okay, here we go. And I'm not sure what book this is out of, but a friend of mine sent it to me. All right. The kind of person you are is reflected in the friends you pick. So if your life is unproductive and stagnant, look at the people you've surrounded yourself with. Friendships, good and bad, indicate the direction you're going. Whoever walks with wise people will be wise, but whoever associates with fools will suffer. Misery loves company, so steer clear of negative thinkers. It's better to travel alone than spend your life listening to people who drag you down. When you come into agreement with the right people, you can accomplish more than twice as much. Author John Mason writes, "The less you associate with some people, the more your life will improve. The right friends and associations bring out the original in you. You know the kind of people I'm talking about. After you've been with them, you find yourself less critical, full of faith, and with the vision for the future. The devil doesn't generally use strangers to deter or stop you. Your friends will either stretch your vision or choke your dream. As you grow in God, your associations will change. Some friends won't want to go on. They'll want to stay where they are. But as Edwin Lewis Cole observed, when you let someone else create your world for you, they always make it too small. Not everyone has a right to speak into your life. Respect those whom God has connected to you to help you. God cares for people through people. And wise is the person who fortifies their life with the right friendships." And so basically, all that to say, right here is talking about friendships, but I'm expanding friendships to mean any relationship in your life, basically. Any relationship in your life, if it's a lot of negative energy, if it's whenever you're dealing with this particular person or these type of people, you find yourself feeling sick, you find yourself feeling upset, you find yourself ruminating over the conversations that you've had, you just feel down on yourself, You start second guessing yourself. You're not as productive. You may be feeling some depression and anxiety because remember, they say these things come to you in the forms of things closest to you. So when we're talking spouses, parents, children, siblings, friends, I mean, it's going to take form in the things that mean the most to you, because that's how you get hurt, is when people who mean something to you give you negative energy. So I just want you all to be, looking out for that. Those of you all that are bossing up, those of you that are actually like trying to reach for greatness and do things that are different than what you see most people around you doing, don't get discouraged when you notice that the quality of some of your relationships is going to change. Okay? And you have to be okay with that. Otherwise, you may start working backwards in order to preserve those relationships. And if that's not what your goal is, that's not what you should be doing. If your goal is to level up in business, then moving backwards to maintain a relationship that holds you down, that's not what you're trying to do. So I encourage you to really think about that. Now, what I don't want you to do is think that anytime you feel any discomfort, anytime you get into it with someone, anytime there's an issue that you don't like, you write it off as if it's the devil, right? The devil's busy. Well, sometimes it might be you, right? It might be the energy you're giving off. You may not be in the space that you think you're in, right? You may think you're a ray of light and positivity, but you really could be giving off some negative vibes. So don't be quick to dismiss constructive criticism. Now, what I'm talking about, you should be able to know the difference, because the way that you feel when someone gives you constructive criticism is much different than how you feel when someone gives you destructive criticism. You shouldn't feel broken after someone gives you constructive criticism. You should feel refreshed and excited about the changes you're about to make, because this person has inspired you to do something differently. They've done it in a way that's respectful, with love, and in a way that you can receive. That's constructive. You're going to look forward to working on those changes, because it's going to help you to understand why certain things play out in your life the way they do. If you're surrounded by people that have that kind of wisdom and the tact to be able to share it with you to help you towards your growth, that's a blessing. You should know the difference. I'm pretty sure you will know the difference between those people and the other people who just really don't. When you think about the conversations you have with these people, you try to reflect and you really just can't find really the positivity in what they were saying to you. You reflect, you look back on it, and it just has a stench of negativity and toxicity. Once you identify that, be very careful, because it's an energy drainer. It's an energy drainer. And because it's going to be the people that are closest to you, because it's going to be the people that are closest to you, it's going to be really hard for you to make decisions about like cutting people off. But you have to be prepared to cut people off. And yes, even if it is somebody who you care about very deeply, again, parents, spouses, children, whatever, anybody bringing that consistent negative energy that's keeping you weighed down, they have got to go. I don't care who they are. And it may only be temporary. I'm not saying that it has to be that way at all time, but when you're trying to get to the next level, it's hard enough when you're at your best. You cannot afford to not be at your best. And I'll just share with you, a person like myself, I absorb the energy around me. And so if I don't make good choices about who I have in my space, my physical proximity, or who I'm spending time talking to, then I'm easily distracted by negative energy, negative exchanges, and it weighs on me. I feel more heavily than the average person because I'm what I would call extra sensitive. So if you're extra sensitive, you really have to be guarded about who you let in your space, especially if they know you're sensitive, because they will play on what they feel are your weaknesses, or they'll kind of, rub that in. If the person is really intentionally doing it to keep you down, they're going to know, you know, that you're easily hurt, basically. They're going to know that you take things hard. So if you feel like you don't know how to change yourself and become less sensitive, then at the very least, make better decisions about who you have around you. Everyone's not going to be happy for you as you're on your journey to greatness. Everyone's not going to be happy for you. Everyone's not going to believe in you. They're not going to see your vision. Um, it just, you know, but you have to continue forward, even if you're the last man standing. And like the passage said, even if you have to end up being alone and there's no one standing in your corner, you still forge forward. You still go forward. You still go forward. It can be very lonely and alienating to have big dreams and to talk about goals that seem like they're unreachable or unimaginable. But what you do is, there are other people out there that are like that. Do what you can to connect with those people. Join forums, network, you know, go to places where there are other dreamers and people that think big, and put yourself around those people, so that becomes your new norm. Thinking big just becomes a new norm. Now you're just thinking normally because everybody around you thinks big, so that's the new norm. So then it makes you want to go even harder, right? Surround yourself with those people. If you surround yourself with people who keep try to keep your world small, it's going to be hard for you to expand outside of that. And because it can be people that are close to you, you're really going to second guess whether you're on track or not, because you may really value the things that those people have to say. So when they're telling you things, and they may not really even mean any harm, but when they're telling you things, you're really like contemplating, like, well, dad, I know this person got my back. I know this person wouldn't do me that way. So what is this energy? What exactly is it? And if you start to feel that way, I encourage you to not associate that negative energy with that person. Associate it with the negative energy that comes when you're on the brink of success, getting to the next level. That's when you know you're on to something, because things just get hard. Because it's like, it makes you, it makes you want to quit. It makes you want to give up, So all I can say is don't give up. That's all I can say, is keep on pushing forward, regardless of, what people are saying. If there is like no validity to what they're saying. And if it's the kind of situation where it's someone who you're surprised is behaving a certain way, put them aside, put them in timeout for a second, do your thing, and then get back to that person once you've gotten to your goal, and be able to explain to that person why you had to put them on ice. And sometimes you have to do that with people. You got to put yourself in timeout sometimes. If you know you're not in a good space, you may need to remove yourself from certain environments for a little while, so that you don't wreak havoc in other people's lives and make other people miserable. So just be on the lookout for that negative energy. It's an indication that you're doing something right, in my opinion. And every time I've done something that has gotten to a higher level or some type of achievement or accomplishment, there was always something messed up that happened right before. Something that would have either derailed me and made me not want to keep moving forward. But I always moved forward, as hard as it was. And there have been some really challenging times in my life. So um, move forward. Move forward, even if it's the people that are closest to you. You're going to have to be willing to stand alone. You may have to be willing to stand alone. Not forever, just enough where you know you have that level of confidence where you can stand alone when you need to. And when you are together and you are giving off the right energy, your people will find you. Your people will find you. So just, stay positive and know that the road gets tough. You may feel like you're losing relationships, or your conversations are starting to change, your lifestyle is changing, and it may seem like there are some people that can't go with you or don't want to go with you. And if your goal is really to move forward, then you have to decide if you're willing to let those things go. That's a choice that only you can make. That's not a choice anyone can make for you. As for me, I know that I'm really trying to get to the next level, and I am willing to eliminate certain dynamics in relationships from my life that are not helping me with that mission. So it's a hard thing to do, but I think it's a healthy thing to do. Just make sure that you're choosing correctly. Don't just eliminate everybody who has something to say that is the opposite of what you think or not right on the same page with you. You don't want a room full of yes men. That's not what I'm telling you. But remember, constructive criticism, not destructive criticism. Those are your people, the one who can inspire you to want to be better. And it's not because they made you feel horrible about yourself, okay? So when the devil is busy, you get busier. You get busier. Just don't get derailed. You get busier, you stay ahead, okay? And you leave that negative energy behind. It's going to be so tempting to look back, but you just keep on going forward, okay? I won't belabor the point. I know it's late. I'll say hello to everyone. If anyone has any questions or comments, thank you for stopping through. Those that are watching, I appreciate you. Any comments? Anybody actually experienced anything like this before? Hello. Hi, Richard. Richard, have you ever been on the brink of success, something wonderful, and all of a sudden negativity is just all in your space? Hey, Nico. Thank you. At least I have an audience, a little audience. Derek, you say you have. What is it? What is that like? What's that like for you? Do you think there's some validity in what I'm talking about here? Thank you, Nico. I mean, all I'm doing is just really speaking from experience, and I just, when I see patterns, and I'm like, I know there have to be other people that may be going through this, and maybe if I share my experience, it'll be just enough that right person gets the message and it helps them through. Because again, I'm telling you, it can be your own mother, your own father, a husband, a wife that you love dearly, and all of a sudden this person becomes what appears to be an obstacle in your life. It just gets really ugly, and you're wondering why. That's maybe not who they really are. It's like something negative just like jumps in there. Yeah, it's like people don't like to see you do better for yourself. I believe that's true. But sometimes I think I don't even think they're aware sometimes that they're doing it. I think that some people are so conditioned to, I don't know, just so conditioned to be complacent. It's almost like maybe subconsciously they feel like if you feel like you want to better your position, if you're in the same position as them, or even already in a better position than they are, and you're still talking about you want to level up, now is it just implied that you're trying to say what the way they're living is inferior or subpar. Is this how people is taking it? Is that what people think when you tell people you're trying to achieve greatness? And it's, if you talk about owning your own business and you have a parent that has been employed most of their lives and take pride in it, now is this person all of a sudden offended because they think you're looking down on them? What is it? Is it really conscious? And I challenge you to actually consider that it's not always conscious. And when you consider that it's not always conscious, that makes forgiveness a piece of cake. It really does. Forgiveness becomes a piece of cake when you can easily attribute the negative energy towards just like the way the universe works, right? Just the way the world is. When you're on the verge of something great, you're going to have that challenge to really test you, like right before you get to the end. And it's how you handle those challenges, I think, that will determine if you move forward. Your own experience, you heard everything I said before. Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you. People don't like change. No, people don't like change. I don't particularly care for certain changes, but overall, change is a good thing. Hey, honey, you can come in. Hi, I'm going live. You can say hello. How are you? Hi. Yeah, so people don't like change. And you're thinking like that. Hey. You gonna say hi? Hi. Okay. Y'all getting ready for bed? Okay. So yeah, people don't like change. But you're thinking in your mind, but wait a minute, you don't want to get this money? Oh, you mean you want to continue doing what you've been doing? You want to live paycheck to paycheck? You're asking those kind of questions and don't even realize you're offending people. You are alienating yourself because when you start thinking that way, you become a minority. And so other people, you're just going to find that not as many people are going to be talking the way that you're talking. Don't stop talking like that, though. Don't stop thinking like that. Find your people. Find those people. They're out there. I promise you, you're not the only one. So find your people. And the people that are not your people, learn to accept it and move on. So yeah, that's really all I had to say this evening. You like my shirt? You can say what it says. I know. I'm awesome. Let's not make a big deal about it. It says a lot, like, about my personality, right? This is part of why, I'm sure I encounter some negative energy because I do think very highly of myself. There's no other way to be if you're trying to make it out here, because people are trying to murder your self-esteem, like, in these streets, okay? So you have to start out with high confidence, and you got to maintain that high confidence, because people will try to damn near brainwash you into thinking that you're no good, So, yes, I'm awesome. I know. You can lead them to water. Yep. You can't make them drink. Yeah. This is true. Everybody doesn't want it. Some people just, they want to die of thirst. And that is their prerogative. If you try to talk them out of it, it can really become a heated debate or a discussion that becomes uncomfortable for you, like politics and religion. Talking about being self-employed and having big dreams and trying to do big things is like having a conversation about religion and politics, in my opinion. Because when you start talking to people who do not have a wealth consciousness and who have never even dreamed of like having their own business or becoming a multimillionaire or billionaire, they're going to look at you very strangely. It's going to be a very strange kind of energy in the room. And if you don't like that energy, then get out of that room and get into the right rooms where people are more progressive and doing the kind of things that you can get behind. So that's it. I'm going to listen to what y'all have to say, and then I will let you all go. I'm not happy to know that you all have experienced this, but I'm glad to see that, you know, I'm not the only one that has that thinks this way, that has noticed this kind of thing. You know, even people who will tell you that they understand, and then you start dealing with them and they kind of go right down that road. You're like, wait a minute, I thought you understood. Okay, so maybe you're not there like I thought. You know, it's it's almost like you get disappointed. And I think maybe some people, they try to be there with you, but they see how much energy is required and like persistence and how hard you have to go. And when they can't keep up, now all of a sudden their ideas about their mind, they change their mind, basically. I guess maybe because if they can't keep up, or if they have not figured out how to be successful in any of the things that they do, then y'all may have been on the same page at one point, but then you find that conversation changes. You said your mind is like your bed. You have to make it up every day and watch who you let in it. I love it. I love that, Nico. I like that. It's very true. I have to use that. My son just texted me and told me he passed his bio exam. Good for him. I'm glad. My son, in his experience at school, is a great example of how everybody is not on board with striving for greatness. You know, believe it or not, there were not a lot of people who supported my decision to tell my son he should apply to MIT. There were people that outright said they didn't think it was a good idea. They thought that it was a crapshoot, that it was like too far. His guidance counselor put on his paper that it was a far reach. Had like a category, far reach, next to any school that they thought was like out of his league. Far reach. Well, he reached and he made it. And so I think it's a good example. I like to use that example because it just describes what I'm talking about. You have like people in the family, you know, who obviously want the best for him, right? And then you're like, why wouldn't you want him to at least try? You know, why don't think he's good enough? What do you think it's going to really hurt to at least try? And you have these conversations and you just get this blank stare, and there is no real rationale. What you discover is there is no rationale for people who don't think big like that. They will oppose you simply because they don't think that way, but they don't have a rationale as to why you shouldn't think that way. You know, so you got to be careful with that, because a lot of times people will just challenge you on things just because they don't have an understanding of it. But because they don't understand it, because they can't conceive of it, they think that it must not be right. You know, right? It's beyond the realm of their understanding, so it must not be right. You have to be careful with that. But that's why it's important to not be surrounded by small-minded people. Hey, Lonnie. Hey, Uncle Paul. That's why it's very important to not surround yourself with small-minded people, because it will make you feel strange when you think big. And nobody really wants to feel like a weirdo, you know? You can stomach it, but you would prefer it not be that way. So don't put yourself in an environment where people make you feel strange for having big dreams and big goals. Don't level down for people to make people comfortable. No, don't do that. You won't feel good about it, and they won't either, really. You say hello? Do you have big dreams? You do? I know you do. I love you.
Some more about my bakery and some about Unicorn Mermaid.
You want to tell them about your bakery? Yeah, I'll make sure that you get to give them an update. Okay, you need to get into bed. My kids stay up late.
Very late.
Very late. They stay up. Luckily, they go to one of the schools that starts really late. My kids, they like grown people around here. But I like my kids. That's why I don't put them to bed. Some people put their kids to bed at like 6:30. They're like, wait a minute, they just got home like 3 hours ago. Yeah. Anyway, if you guys don't have any other comments, I love to continue talking with you. I'm not really. That's a lie. I was busy before I did this, but I definitely don't mind talking because it's really. I enjoy the socializing that I do on Facebook now more than I used to. Yeah, Derek, I know you're tired. I know you're tired. Well, I appreciate you guys hanging in here with me, chatting with me about this. For those who end up seeing it at a later time, just remember, if the devil is busy in your life, just get busier. Get busier. That's all I can say. As painful as it is, push through. Okay? You know, I wouldn't tell you if I wasn't dealing with it myself. I feel like I know these things to be true. Okay? Pulled a 12-hour shift today. Yeah. Why you believe the world is more sad than 10 years ago? I don't know why. Than 10 years ago. I don't know if I would. I don't know how to classify saying that the world is more sad. I know I feel like something's happening that's changing. That doesn't feel real positive about the world we live in. It feels like something's changing and it's not great, the direction that it's going. But what are you talking about, Nico? Hi, Willard. Racism, yeah. Racism, classism, sexism, the breakdown of the family structure, the lack of respect for the institution of marriage. I can think of a ton of reasons why. I can think of a ton of things that make me sad that I see day to day. Addiction. That's one of those addiction, whether it's gambling, alcohol, and I hate to throw it in there, but even some of these marijuana strains got people thinking that they're just fine because all they do is smoke weed, and they don't even realize that some of these strains out here, you may as well be smoking crack. Like, seriously, people. All right, Derek. He said that's all old. You go get some rest. Hey, Greg. So yeah, racism, sexism, classism, addiction, breakdown of the family, the lack of respect for the institution of marriage. All of those things make for a sad existence if you're not careful. You got to have a really strong core to experience any semblance of happiness in this life. They don't make it easy, I'll tell you that much. People do not make it easy. All right, gentlemen, I'm gonna get out of here. I was actually learning how to use iMovie, using that editing tool. Pretty interesting. Okay, so if there's any questions about business or anything, I still do that. So, you know, you can use whenever I go live, if you do have questions, just let me know. Okay, you can also inbox me. Okay, so good night, you all. Thanks for tuning in.